Well, welcome. Hello, Laura. Why don't you start by telling us your full name and
My name is Laura Sinclaire.
and how long you worked at Shell?
I worked for Shell for 19 years. I initially started in crack products, and then I ended my time with Shell in logistics.
Okay. And what year was that?
I retired 2 years ago, so I retired November 2019, I think. Yes, that sounds right. November 2019.
Retirement's been good.
And here's your partner in crime. What is your name, sir?
Hi, I'm Don Lapacek. I worked with Laura in Crack Products. I stayed with that department for a long time. I took on a couple of different roles. The All for Safety group was one of the early coordinators for that with Paul Kolash. And Teresa McCarowitz was managing that program at the time. And then later on I became the top rep for the site. And that was in 2012 until I retired in 2020.
Did you two meet at Shell?
We did.
We did.
Can we hear that story?
Donnie was one of the titans of the department, you know.
One of the veteran old guard, I guess, as it were.
So I always was paying attention to what Donnie was saying because Donnie knew so much. He had so much knowledge. And then later on, I became his alternate for top. And we did some really cool traveling together with the company. We went to Louisiana a couple times, Arizona,
Pittsburgh,
Anacortes. We went some cool places.
Yeah.
So we just got to be really great friends. We have lots of fun inside joke stories, and it's, you know.
There are some things you just can't make up.
Yeah.
And one of the earliest memories I have is, everybody, you don't get to know people unless you start working with them. And it was one time that Laura and I were paired because we were working on different teams. I was working on team 4, I think you were on team 2. Anyway, we started working together on a shift, and we started talking a little bit, sharing a little bit about each other. And I told her that my in-laws were the Atkin heads. George Atkinhead was a maintenance supervisor out here. And Laura's eyes beam open like this, and she says, "You mean George and Mary Jo?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "On Shelley Drive?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "At this and this address? I live next door to them." It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, his in-laws were my neighbors, and they
Wow.
were like original long-term neighbors. So Donnie and I have just had years of linking, and yeah.
And a lot of things in common, like goofing off. We both have great legs.
I just lost my slip there.
That was an ongoing joke because the quarters out there in the old shelters, you had a tiny little bathroom that fit like one person, so we'd take turns hiding around the corner, and dropping down our gear, to put on our work coveralls and stuff. And once in a while, my boxers would kind of hang out there, and Laura would look over and she'd go, "Ooh, nice legs."
Because you can't work in a small environment. You can't be thin-skinned about it. You just,
Yeah, you're
these
in
are
there.
your brothers and sisters,
Yes.
and you have to be thick-skinned.
Yep, thick and thin.
Yeah.
Thick and thin.
Probably the best experience for me, if I had to sum it all up about being at Shell, are the people. It's probably what I miss most. People.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. And is there a particular, how about you? Is that the same thing? Or is it
Oh,
done?
absolutely. Yeah. The place is, refinery equipment is refinery equipment. It has a personality of its own. And if you get good engineers and maintenance folks that understand that and will, have those conversations, you can pretty much solve the majority of the problems that equipment will have. But the better interaction is the people that you're working with, and that ability to communicate and also have a lot of fun. I mean, I won't lie to you, we did some practical joking a little bit back in the day, you know, they used to call it horseplay, but it was friendly horseplay, you know, like turning on an air hose behind somebody at night, and they think, ah, we just blew a hole in a pipe.
But when business needed to be done,
It was done.
everybody was there,
Coordinated.
team, safe.
You knew your place, you knew what you needed to do, and we were all there to support each other and make sure that nobody was going into panic mode, and just said, okay, just calm it down. This too will pass.
It was fun.
It was a lot of
It
fun.
was fun.
That is very cool. Is there a particular, oh, that's so lovely. Oh my heaven. Like soulmates, shell soulmates. Is there a particular story besides, you know, the small bathroom or anything you want to share, or anything you remember?
Boy, the way
Well-
you put that.
No. Yes. No.
Yes and no.
No?
The hydrogen.
Okay, all right.
Oh no.
Okay.
So we can't say that, you know, that training was always super crystal clear. Sometimes you get instructions, you know, and like when you're bringing up a plant as an example, and they'd say, okay, well, go through this procedure, steps 1 through page 23, but skip paragraphs 15 and 16 on page 131. When you get to that point, go over to the other Green Book manual and start reading from this, and then the rest was given to you verbally. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. What did they say? So we had a little bit of miscommunication, nothing that was bad, but one time in particular, we were supposed to switch over from nitrogen to hydrogen to get it in the plant so that we could start a compressor and keep that going. And I may have followed some instructions that were verbal that I wrote down. And so the nitrogen stayed in until almost daybreak, and the foreman, coordinator of the turnaround was asking about, you know, what's the status report? Well, Laura's up on the board and she's watching it and she's going, Donnie, he keeps calling me. What do I tell him? I said, don't tell him anything. I'm doing it right now.
He did. He kept calling me. God love him. He kept calling me. And so then the second or third time, and then I saw the phone number, and I was like, oh God, he's here now. I said, tell him I'm
He's
in
in
the
the plant.
bathroom, because I'm trying to buy time for Donnie.
And we went out and, believe it or not, we got it switched over and ready for day shift. Yes, we lost 2 hours of time in starting it up. But I think everybody that was working with us that night, they were just rolling on their back, crying with laughter. It was such a comedy of error and fun, and
We got it.
we got it done.
Got it.
You know, you just you
Teamwork.
get the job done. And,
Ever-
I'll never forget it. Laura's the best.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nobody got hurt.
Thank you very
That's
much.
wonderful. You